How y'all doing today? It's your boy Jermaine from Hognose Hogs back with another video. And for this video, I want to talk about two color mutations that are found in the Plains hognose snakes hobby, and that's going to be the Axanthic gene as well as the Arctic gene. And I want to kind of give a compare and contrast and just show you some of the similarities in the gene as well as the differences. So the first gene we're going to talk about is the Axanthic gene. And as you can see, the Axanthic removes the reds and the yellow pigment from the snake. So you're basically left with a snake that is gray, black, or white. So predominantly like the background color is like a light grayish, and then some of the patterns, you usually see them dark black or even like a lighter black with some gray hint to it. But basically it's a black and white snake that also has a gray touch to it. When you compare that to the Arctic gene, which was originally known as the JMG Axanthic. So it was discovered by a guy named Jeff Gelwood. He's pretty much one of the most popular breeders of hognose snakes. And this gene, it looks very similar to the Axanthic gene. The Arctic gene is usually characterized by like a gray to whitish background, and then the pattern is usually highlighted in black, has a lot of melanin. And but the Arctic gene can come in various colors. Unlike the Axanthic, which is basically black, gray, and white, the Axanthic can have browns as well as greens, and then sometimes reds. But now let's get into the differences in terms of genetics. The main difference between these two genes is that the Axanthic gene is recessive, the Arctic gene is an incomplete dominant. So in terms of the Axanthic, because it's recessive, the snake has to have 2 copies of that Axanthic gene to visually express that genetic mutation. So it needs a gene from the mom and the dad. When you compare that to the Arctic gene, because it's an incomplete dominant, it only needs 1 copy of that gene to visually express what that Arctic looks like. But if you do get an animal with 2 copies of the Arctic gene, you'll get what's called a super form of the Arctic. So basically the characteristics of the Arctic is actually magnified a lot more. And so you get more of a lighter background with more concentrations of that black color around their pattern as well as the pattern around their head. So with that being said, let's compare and contrast these in terms of mixing them with other genes. And so the gene I'm gonna use, for example, in this video is the albino. Whenever you combine the Axanthic gene with the albino, you'll get what's called a snow. So this is an animal that has a white background and their pattern is a very faint pink color. So it almost looks like a white snake. Now, if you combine the snow, the Axanthic and albino with the Conda gene, which reduces the pattern, you'll get more of that white background. So it looks more of a whiter snake. And then if you combine that with the Superconda form, you'll basically get a pure white snake with just the faint head pattern. Now let's compare the Arctic albino. So when you combine the albino to Arctic, you actually get more of a yellowish snake. So usually the background is sometimes white or a very light yellow, and then the patterns are either going to be yellow and outlined in orange or more of an orange color with kind of a dark orange outline. So it's a really pretty snake. And so it's crazy how the Arctic and Axanthic gene, they look very similar when you look at just their base form, but when you combine them with other genes like the albino, you get 2 completely different animals. And with the Arctic gene, let's say you have the Arctic albino, but instead of the Arctic, you have a super Arctic. So this animal is a pink animal. So this intensifies the pink color. And so you get an animal that has more of a whitish pink background, but then their patterns are like a more vibrant pink, and then their eyes are pink as well. So basically that's kind of the differences between the Axanthic and the Arctic. The biggest difference is one is a recessive, one is an incomplete codominant, and then when you mix them together with different genes, they come out with a different color animal. So hopefully this video was very helpful, and I will make more videos like this in the future. Y'all have a nice day.